Hey everyone, this is Jebro, and this is going to be a Guardian bunker build. Now, whether or not this will make it in the end, I'm not too sure, but we did see in one of the ESL Go for Guild Wars 2 Cups, which is obviously the competitive sPvP in EU and NA, it's on a Sunday on Twitch of course, on the Guild Wars 2 channel, that this was played by Tage of Orange Logo. Whether or not this is something that's going to remain is yet to be seen, because you all know the damage is pretty high as it goes at the moment, conditions especially, but still kind of direct damage as well. But it's kind of shifted a little bit. The build is pretty much the same as maybe an old meta, I guess, the old meta of a while ago now, because kind of medi guards have been around for so long, back in like August, September last year, whatever. So close to a year, you know. But now, like, you know, Bunker Guardian might be coming back. So with that said, I'm going to go pretty much over the build, which I've been playing actually recently, and Tage played today for Orange Logo, but it had a couple of differences. So I'm actually going to go with the one he used, but I just wanted to pass this out to you today. So I've been doing Mesmer and like engineer builds, but you know, Guardian is my other class, and I actually used to play Bunker Guardian in the team when I played it, and it was pretty fun. I like support roles. Support roles is something that I'm very confident at, because you know, healing and removing conditions and you know, rezzing and stuff like that, I'm fairly happy as what I did in raiding and stuff. But let's get to the build. You probably know exactly what I'm gonna say and what's gonna be in the build, but it's going to be a good one, I think. Mace with offhand focus. Now you can go with shield as well, depending on how you want to run this build, and especially if you're on Battle of Kylo, shield might actually be a better offhand weapon to use, because you know, you can use that shield knockback to actually knock people off the point, gain some ticks, or even gain the cap if you know, you get times get desperate. So that's quite a good one. Also Temple of Silent Storm's quite a good one to use shield on, because you can knock people down when you're grabbing stillness, you know, things like that. And there's a lot of ledges where that's going to be kind of useful to get people off you at times as well, which is going to be quite useful. So let's go first of all over the weapons and the sigils and whatnot. So we're going for staff, of course, you know, staff main support weapon for Guardian. Going for Mason offhand focus, and then we're going for energy on both and intelligence on both. I'll explain that again in a minute why that is. Rune of the soldier, of course, still, you know, shouts, remove a condition. It's pretty much standard what we had before, and then power toughness and healing power over on the cleric's amulets. So we don't need HP because we're a Guardian. So let's go over to the traits. Oh no, let's talk about quickly the utilities here. So standard heal is going to be shelter, so you perform some blocks while you're healing. Obviously that's very useful to mitigate damage as well as actually, you know, healing yourself. And then we've got the shouts. Now these are the lowest cooldown shouts. There is save yourselves as well, but that's quite a big cooldown, so let's have a double check to see how long that is. That's actually going to be 48 seconds, so we don't want to use that one. We want to have these on cooldown as much as possible, plus also retreat. You know, if people haven't got access to swiftness, you can give that to them if you should so wish, and it's got that low cooldown, and the Aegis is good as well. But yeah, we're actually going to go with Feel My Wrath, and this has got a very low cooldown if you spec into it as well, 24 seconds. So quickness and fury. So because we've got this whole thing, you know, at the moment where damage is quite high, healing almost to a degree, you can't out heal the person against in a fight, out heal the damage that's incoming, because you just can't mitigate it that much. You can sustain the fight for quite a long time, but you still need to have that extra bit of damage. So if you're gonna be trying to win that fight, of course, like things like availability to quickness and fury are going to be very good, and also you can use these very defensively. So like quickness, for example, 24 seconds, you're in a big team fight and you're going to potentially lose people. You can all gain quickness and get those fast reses off. Also the quick stomps, also the quick abilities, you know, you can really pull off some nice damage. You're going to give fury and quickness to everyone. You're all going to have those abilities available to you. So this is very, very supporty in a general sense, because it's more about healing and support and condition removal with added support in terms of damage. Of course, you can do that, and giving might to your allies and different boons and whatnot, that can help in their offensiveness. But, you know, fury and quickness together on a 24-second cooldown Yes, that's pretty damn good. Okay, you're saying renewed focus. You know, you get to recharge your virtues, so you've got more access to things like might, regen, and also stability and protection, and retaliation, of course, on all of them. But you know, I just think it's nice. When I was talking to Tage as well, you know, he's saying about that push in the fight, in the team fight as well, where it's very important to have that quickness and that fury to, you know, move the fight along, move it so you can actually win those fights. And in his team specifically, you know, it's very important for that to happen. And also, at the moment, we're not too sure about what Shoutbow is going to be doing. It's probably going to be like Hambo or even Hammer with Greatsword, and then potentially a banner thrown in as well. But banners are going to be so easy to interrupt now, especially if you like interrupt mesmerism and whatnot, and all the different abilities we have and the quickness that people have availability to at the moment. They'll be able to look for those abilities even more, and if you pull out a banner, you're going to be punished for it more often than not. So yeah, it's just a little bit of an explanation about that, really. So we've got the staff, mace, and offhand focus. So first of all, we're going to go to virtues. Inspired virtue, adepts, there we go, applying that boon. Then we're going for retaliatory, there you go, subconscious. They really have to do that, don't they? Gain retaliation and Aegis when stunned, dazed. There you go. It just makes sense. It does what it says on the tin. Virtues, you get that retaliation as well, which is always going to be nice. Absolute resolution, of course, you're going to lose those conditions when you use that virtue. That's always very good, actually. The condition removed going to be free, and it's a big radius. Power of the Virtuous, so deal extra damage for each boon you have. Virtues to recharge faster. And you actually do a little bit more damage now in this build, even with a staff, you know, in that burning, because the conditions, like, you know, because burning is a very strong condition as well at the moment. Like, you get some damage off this time around. It's pretty nice, especially if you've got like Fury and stuff like that. Indomitable Courage, of course, you know, you grab that stability, which is going to be good for stability stomping, stability rezzing, to keep you on a node so you're not going to get knocked off, you know, but you're going to be mainly in these team fights. If you're not in team fights with this build, it's going to be very painful. Okay, so let's go into Valor. You got Valorous defense, gain Aegis when you are struck while below the health threshold. Aegis, you're going to be grabbing a ton in this build. Strength for the Fallen, lose conditions at a set time interval. Health degenerates more slowly while down, so that's obviously very good, and especially in cleaved fights. But also the one condition gets removed every 10 seconds, and we know how horrible conditions are, so more condition removal on yourself as well, the better. Courageous return, so virtue of courage is recharged when you revive an ally or when you rally, so that's obviously going to be very good as well. We would like to have that stability back up as soon as possible, and protection and whatnot. Communal defense, grant Aegis to allies when you block an attack. Now you've got a lot of blocks here. You've got shelter, and you've got, you know, offhand focus. Can't remember 100% if it works off that, but you know, when you block attacks, giving people Aegis is going to be very good. And also you do gain might, so that definitely happens with this focus ability right here. So if you're in a big team fight and you pop that off, you can get extra might stacks, and you know, when you block as well, so you can build up some okay damage after a while. And there's so many fire fields with so many Ellies now as well, you can actually get up to a ton of might stacks, especially with your staff number 4 and power ability. Altruistic healing is not going away. Applying a boon to allies heals you, so whenever you apply boons from any of your abilities, you get some healing off that over a base of 81, as it is at the moment. So you know, you're going to be producing a lot of boons to people, so you're sustaining yourself quite well. It's important for you to survive as well. That's why you need to be in team fights as well. If you're 1v1 on a point, you can hold it for a bit, but you won't be as strong, you won't be as sustaining as you would be if you were in a team fight. So, we're going to go to Honour finally, which is going to be Vigorous Precision, so gain Vigour when you deliver a critical hit. Hello! Your next 3 attacks after swapping to this weapon while in combat have a 100% critical chance. So there we go, we're going to gain some more Vigour. And we're going to have some Fury as well, which is pretty good to get that dodge back, because you're going to need to heal with it, which you'll see very soon. Protective Reviver, so activate a Shield of Absorption when you begin reviving an ally, so exactly the same as the shield ability that you have on your shield 5, you can knock back while you're reviving and reflect those projectiles, of course. Selfless Daring, the end of your dodge roll, heals allies. Look at the heal, the base heal on that is 721 off one dodge, and that's 5 targets. It's very close, so make sure you dodge near people that need that healing, especially if you're, dodging abilities. So you want to try and stay close to your allies so you can block damage and you can actually, dodge roll into a heal for them to give them that support. So everything you're doing in this build is very supportive, no matter what you're doing. You're blocking damage, you're getting hit, you're giving ages to people, you're giving stability and things like that off your virtues, you're taking away conditions with your shouts, and making them into boons as well. So it's very, very important to be close to your team, so you are very useful. Purity of Body, your virtue of resolve passive effect also regenerates endurance. It's very good as well. And self-explanatory really. Pure Voice, allies affected by shouts have conditions converted to boons, and shout abilities have their recharge reduced. So we've got the reduced cooldown on all of these shouts, which we have 4 now instead of 3 because we've got this extra Feel My Wrath. And we have it on all of these. So 32 seconds, 24 and 28. These two are going to be your most available ones, and then followed closely by retreats. So, if they've got conditions on them, you want to cleanse them because you're going to be giving them positive boons, as well as, when you give them boons, you're going to give yourself healing. The build is very synergizes well. Everything synergizes well in this build. Arenanet have probably got Guardian well worked out in terms of the support, and it's been like that for a long time, and this is why this build hasn't really changed that much. But thought I'd do an update for it because we have had these new free trait lines coming in, and now that's you can go into some more detail, I guess, and you can change some stuff up in here. That there is some other abilities you could use, in this build. So you could, gain protection more using the focus ability. Focus abilities have reduced recharge, more selfish. But so is that. You can change things up. Give us a shout. Tell us what you think. Maybe these intelligence runes aren't massively, sigils aren't needed, and you could go for something else because you've got some fury. Who knows? But I've been Jebro. Hopefully I'm going to get some gameplay out of these videos very soon. Don't forget to drop a subscribe, follow, like, and check out all the information in the description. I'll see you very soon. Thanks for joining me today for this Guardian Bunker build. See you soon.